Hey everyone. First of all, I want to give credit to Rob the Wonderful of Planet Rob. Hashtag Rob the Wonderful. Find that on Twitter. And I want to thank him because as you see here, I'm holding the initial Green Lion uh, tin case tin for the Voltron DVD series release. This is Collection 3 Green Lion. And it has, of course, Pidge on there. Now you're probably wondering, why am I holding this and everything? Well, as you see right there, it says Voltron Legendary Defender surprises us, and it AKA contains spoilers. So if you don't know what I'm about to, so if you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch this video. But if you do want to be spoiled, and if you've skimmed through Voltron already, Legendary Defender on Netflix, then you pretty much know what I'm about to talk about. And again, I want to give credit to Rob the Wonderful for pointing this out, because even he found out through information he had to look online, look at online. But as we know, sometimes with every reboot and everything, or retcon, or what have you, sometimes the character doesn't just change in design; they change in gender. I remember watching G.I. Joe Resolution, or G.I. Joe Resolute, which is sort of a more mature continuation of G.I. Joe Generation 1, A Real American Hero. And I noticed that Dial Tone, who was a male, a guy initially in Generation 1 of G.I. Joe, in Resolute, is now a female. Yeah. They initially changed Dial Tone into a girl. Not that big of a deal. Transformers has even done that. In fact, the character I have back here called Overdrive, I think, in G1 or one of the later releases of G1, Overdrive was a male. Kind of get where I'm coming from? Yeah. Gender swapping is not uncommon when it comes to retcons or reboots. You take a look at Doctor Strange upcoming, and you pretty much see that the guy the entity that, or the individual, the character that mentors and teaches Doctor Strange into becoming who he is portrayed as a male in the comics and in other media, but in this movie is being portrayed by a female actress. So yeah, you kind of get what I'm saying, right? Well, it happened again, if you will. It happened again because Voltron Legendary Defender, because a lot of us were wondering, okay, would Princess Allura, this incarnation of Allura, follow the other incarnations of her in the original Voltron, as well as the follow-up shows, sequels, if you will, Third Dimension and Voltron Force? Would she follow in the footsteps of her previous incarnations and pilot one of the Lions? Well, she doesn't pilot one of the Lions. She pilots the main ship that they fly around in space in. She kind of like that's her main transportation, her main vehicle for battle and, like I said, transportation. So, while we were asking that question, I'm sure DreamWorks and those that worked on the series, the creators that worked on Legendary Korra and Avatar, probably put Avatar as Airbender, probably knew we were going to wonder about that. So they decided to change the origin of Pidge, this character here, and decided to make Pidge a girl. That's right, a girl named Katie. And from what I understand, and again, hopefully those that don't want to be spoiled are not watching this, but if you are, it's because maybe you've watched the series already or skimming through it as we speak, or as I'm doing this. The reason they did this is because Pidge's family disappeared. Basically, if you watch the first few minutes of the pilot movie or episode, Shiro, along with two unnamed pilots, unnamed astronauts, are taken by Zorak's forces, are attacked and taken by Zorak's forces. So Pidge wants to find her family, but because she doesn't want anybody to know who she is, or pretty much she feels that being a female would, and being a female at her size or something, I don't know what it is. She basically decides, okay, I know people might recognize me and they'll try to prevent me, because she was looking up, from what I understand, she's been looking up information and stuff, and when she got captured, or she got caught. So basically, because of the fact that she got caught, she decided to cut her hair, don glasses, and basically rename herself Pidge so she wouldn't be recognized. So yeah, that's the surprise Voltron Legendary Defender lays on a lot of us traditional old school Voltron fans. They take initially a very popular character, and some might say very feminine character already, or shy character, or whatever you look at, and basically gender swap him into a girl. And when I look at this, when I think about, not look at this, but when I think about this, and when I heard Rob talk about this, you could tell he was getting a kick out of it, but because he was laughing about it a little bit, but you could also tell that through that laugh, even he was surprised. But I think the reason they did this is because a lot of fans were going to question if, like I said earlier, a lot of fans were going to question if Allura was going to pilot one of the Lions, because traditionally you always had 4 males and 1 female. You had Lance, you had Keith, you had Pidge, you had Lance, you had Keith, you had Pidge, you had Hunk, and you had a female. In the original, it was Lance, Keith, Pidge, Hunk, Allura. Well, now here they've kind of resolved that question. They've kind of resolved that by making Pidge a girl. So now, instead of initially thinking at first, oh, it's just 5 males, it's now back to that traditional 4 males, 1 girl, 1 female trope that we're used to. The only difference is the female here is Pidge. And what I like about this, when I read more information about it, is everybody pretty much had an idea. Allura basically kind of had an idea and comforted Pidge, Katie, if you will, and said, you can confide in me, it's alright. Shiro pretty much knew right off the bat and kind of said the same thing Allura did, saying, hey, you can confide in me, you've known me for a while, I know it's you. You can't hide yourself. I mean, basically it sounds like Shiro knew who Pidge was right off the bat and comforted her and said, hey, look, I know who you are, you can't hide the truth, I know who you really are behind those glasses. So but you can trust me, and it's up to, basically what it was is by Allura and Shiro, from what I understand, confiding in her and saying, hey, you can trust us, you got to be the one that lets them know, the rest of your teammates know. I think it was a brilliant move. I think it was a good move, because at least she has support Pidge, Katie here. I'm going to call her Katie just to differentiate a little bit. At least had the support to realize, okay, maybe I shouldn't hide this secret. Maybe I should come out and let them know. So between episodes 4 and 6, from what I understand, Katie, aka Pidge, finally does reveal that she is not a boy, she's in fact a girl. And what's funny about this is, like I said, not only does Shiro and Allura pretty much acknowledge that they've already known, Keith and Hunk, who's kind of like the BFF of Pidge, Katie, pretty much acknowledged they kind of had the same idea as well, that they kind of had a feeling that Pidge wasn't exactly who he, or in this case she, seemed to be. The only one I think that seemed surprised by it, thrown off by it and surprised, was Lance. Because Lance is portrayed here as sort of a womanizer, a flirtatious womanizer. And from what it's been described, Pidge is one of those characters that was always getting on him about that. And now, to his surprise, because initially he wasn't the only one, he was the only one that didn't know. Like I said, he was the only one that didn't know. Oh, it basically explains why Pidge would always get on him about, treating women like they're objects and flirting with them and patronizing them and all that. And it's like now it dawns on Lance with this revelation. No wonder. It basically here dawns on Lance's character in this incarnation as to why Pidge always got on him, because Pidge himself was a girl the whole time, and she didn't like what she was seeing. So, my initial thoughts though on Pidge, though in closing being revealed as a girl, being the girl of the team here, being the female, I kind of like it, because I think anybody might say that Pidge was always looked at as sort of a feminine young boy, because in the original he's he's basically the youngest of the team, but I think looking back on it, growing up, watching it and looking back on it, Pidge was always seemed to be a little bit more feminine, a little bit more frail. So almost like if you were to, almost like if the acknowledgement of transgendership was as known as it is now, you could pretty much say all you have to do is put like a wig on Pidge, put makeup on him, put him in high heels and a dress, and he would basically be he'd basically pull it off being a girl. So he basically pulled off being a girl real easily. So I think that's why not a lot of people are upset about this, because pretty much they've viewed Pidge sort of in that category. Like all you'd have to do is maybe give him longer hair, maybe put a little makeup on him, put him in, like I said, in some women's clothing or dress, and he'd pull off the being a female really easy. So I don't think so. Basically, I believe that's the reason, I should say. I know I'm stumbling over my words here. I do apologize. But I believe that's the reason why people are not upset at the revelation that Pidge is a girl in this version. Because, like I said, it does kind of resolve that dynamic of the 4 males, 1 female Voltron team unit that we're used to seeing from the original. So it does resolve that. But there are fans that are still going to ask and wonder, will Allura pilot one of the Lions like she did in the original? We'll have to wait and see. But those are just my thoughts on the revelation, on the Voltron Legendary Defender revelation of Pidge being a girl in this incarnation. Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like, and I will talk to y'all later.